everybody, how are you all doing today? So, welcome to another session of me learning to do, well, art. Well, quote unquote art, I can't draw for shit. But anyways, I'll be starting as per usual with my Blender section. If you're looking at the video, you won't have to worry about the second section because both Blender and Krita, the second part of this stream, will be separate recordings. And alright, also I'm gonna be doing a little experiment, and that is running some music provided by YouTube itself. So I don't worry about copyright because this is on the YouTube dashboard itself, on the audio library, where it says clearly that we can use this music on our content and not worry about copyright. So hopefully that music is not too loud. I'm gonna lower it just a tiny bit because I am worried about it being loud and you guys not properly hearing me. And if it does happen to be loud, do let me know. I just wanna try experiment with this a bit, get the volume right, and have something so that you don't just hear my voice, but maybe something nice in the background. Doing like a variety of just ambient music, a variety of things right now, and well, it's the best I could find that I felt that would work. But anyways, let's hop on right over to the tutorial itself. I did resize the capture of the site where I'm looking at the documentation. We left off at the menu section. We were about to start this, but I was already starting to get a bit tired and I did need to move on to the Krita section. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I do not know. Also, I think my preview bugged out a little bit. Hopefully everything is still technically working. Yes, it's saying that it's working, so I guess something happened to my preview or something. Ah, no, it is working just fine. Never mind. Oh, god damn it. Excuse me, I need to readjust a few things again. There we go. If it happens that I need to do something in the Blender, I have it running on the background. See, it's right there, running on the background, just in case I actually need it. I don't know how far I'm going to be getting in today's section for Blender, and I am hoping that the audio is working just fine. Oh, and before I carry on, I almost forgot. The description below you will find a link to the Parker Shop where you can purchase energy mixes, sleep mixes, hydration mixes, shakers, and even stickers. And if you use creator code Blackheart, you will get a 10% discount, and it'll help support the channel in the process. Anyways, on with where we left off. Oh, and for those that are seeing this for the first time, I stream this every Tuesdays, and there will be somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours, the Blender section, and the Krita ones will be for roughly an hour. But if you're looking at the video, then you don't have to worry about the Krita section. Just once it reaches the end of the Blender section, that's where I'll stop our recording and start a new one for the other one. Anyways, on with the actual documentation. Menus. Blender uses a variety of different menus for accessibility, accessing options and tools. Selecting menus can be interacted with the following ways. Mouse selection, no shit. I can just skip that one. Numerical selection. You can use the number keys or number pad, of which I'm not going to touch because that's where my shortcuts are at. to input an item in the list to select. For example, number 1 will select the first item and so on. If the menu content is too large to fit in the screen, small menu scrolling indicator triangle appears on the bottom or the top menu. Scrolling it down moving the mouse below or above the scrolling indicator. And what the hell happened to my music? Why did the sound stop? Okay, just YouTube having a small hiccup just there for some reason. But it should be starting back again soon. Do let me know if the volume of my little ambient testing music is loud. Let's see. Shortcuts. Use wheel while moving with the mouse. Arrow keys can be used to navigate. Each menu item has an underlying characteristic which can be pressed to activate it. This is why when I do my Unreal tutorials, I let Jim do most of the reading. I am bad at this reading. Hello there, Sofia Perez. How you doing? Number keys or number pad can be used to access menu items, where 1 is the first item, 2 is the second, etc. For large menus, Alt 1, the 11, up to Alt 0, the 20th. Press return to activate the selected menu item, which I don't know why I would do that, but then again, I'm pretty sure there's some that just use the keyboard. I don't know who would do that, but I know there are some out there that are keyboard only. Press escape to cancel the menu or move the mouse cursor away from the pop-up, or by a left mouse button clicking anywhere out of it. Header menu. Most headers exhibit a set of menus located at the start of the header. Header menus are used to configure the editor and access tools. All the menu entries show the relevant shortcut keys. I think I could skip some of these actually, because collapsing menu, self-explanatory. I want to know what each actual thing does. What each of these actually do. So let's see. Context menu. Special menu. Okay, now here's something I have not seen. Most of this is pretty common, pretty much anything. Like pop-over menus, context menus. And most of the stuff I'm gonna skip because I don't feel it's relevant. Well, I want you to learn how to use the tools so I can actually start making something on Blender. The special pop-up menu contains a context-sensitive list of operators. It is opened by a button with a down arrow on the dark background. Down arrow on the dark background. Okay. Pipe menu. Pipe menu is a menu whose items are spread radially around the mouse. Of which, how do I access this? Like, you're telling me this exists, but you're not telling me how to access it. What button triggers this? That would be nice to know. especially if I'm trying to use like multiple tools at once, to hit the key, select it quickly instead of just hovering all the way over to where it actually is. You know, the other menus will be drop down, pop up, or anything along those lines. Interaction. The pipe menu is spawned by a key press, which is listed on the add-ons documentation, of which I don't recall seeing it, actually. Here's everything I've gone through so far. Oh, there it is, add-ons. That's further up ahead, apparently, so I guess it would be nice if it would tell me right here. I mean, it's mentioned it here, but it'd be nice if it told me right what button it is here right now. I mean, if you're gonna mention it, at least tell me how to use it at least once. Tip: faster way to operate the pipe menu is to press down keys to invoke the menu, then move mouse slightly towards the direction and release the key to activate the selection. Let me know if the music is a bit loud and you guys probably can't hear me properly. Since after this is the first time I'm actually putting music on stream. Right now it's just ambient music. I didn't want like anything with lyrics running in the background while I'm reading. Releasing the key without moving the mouse will keep the menu open, and the user can then move the mouse pointer towards the direction of the pipe menu item and select it by clicking. Releasing the key after moving the mouse towards the pie menu item will cause the menu to close and select the item to activate, which that's probably what I'll do most of the time. Like, hold down, hover it, let go, okay, it's selected. That's probably what I'll do once I start using this. When I get to actually using it. I never used Blender before, I need to learn how to. And open this widget at the center of the pie menu shows the current direction of the pie menu. The selected item is also highlighted. A pie menu will only have a valid direction for item selection. If the mouse is touching or extending beyond this widget at the center of the menu, pie menu item supports key accelerators, which are the letters underlined on each menu item. Also, number keys can be used to select the items. Wait, what? Let me have a look at that. Okay, I think I get it now. So even if my mouse is like, say, like right here when it's open, if I hit the first letter that's like has a line underneath it, it will be selected. Or if you hit one of the numbers that has on the side, it will be selected. I'll prefer to use the mouse. I feel that might be the better option. If there are sub-pies available, it is indicated by a plus icon, which is not visible right here. I wouldn't really know where that plus icon actually is. Eyedropper. The eyedropper pipette icon allows you to sample from anywhere in Blender window. The eyedropper can be used to select different kinds of data. Color. This is the most common usage. The eyedropper is used to sample the pixel colors for anywhere within Blender, called a ramp. Dragging the cursor over the window to sample a line which is converted into a color ramp. Object data. This is used with object buttons such as parent, constraint, or modifier. To select an object from a 3D view, viewport, or outliner, of which I have not gone to either of those. Camera depth. Number fields affecting distance can also use the eyedropper. This is used to set the camera depth, the camera depth of field, so the depth chosen is in focus. E will activate the eyedropper while hovering over the button. Left mouse button dragging will mix the colors you drag over, which can help when sampling noisy imagery. I'm guessing that would be in the case of having an image with a lot of details and a lot of color variety. Spacebar resets and starts mixing the colors again. I'm curious about that. Excuse me real quick. Let me hide the browser for a second. What button was it again? Okay, it must be because I don't have a project started. Because I am hitting E, and it ain't working. It must be because I don't exactly have a I don't have any project like actually open. So let me put the browser back on screen real quick and move on to the next one. I guess I'll know more about it once I get to a section where I actually use it. Let's see. Decorators. Decorators are small buttons that appear to the right of the buttons and show the state of the property. Decorators may appear next to number fields, menus, and checkbox to indicate the property can be animated. It's just talking about this on the side, and these are the numbers. Clicking on the decorator dot icon will add a keyframe to the property, which click the rhombus icon again will remove the keyframe. A solid rhombus icon indicates there is a keyframe on the current frame, while a non-solid rhombus icon indicates that the property has a keyframe on another frame. Clicking on non-solid rhombus icon will add a keyframe to the current property value and frame. If a property is being driven by another property, then the decorator shows the driver icon. Decorators make it quick and easy to glance over properties and see the state of the properties. So yeah, it is sort of talking about this. So here's the rhombus, which is actually filled in. So it doesn't speak about this arrow thing though. Also see state of colors, of which is probably further up ahead or something I already did. Data block menu. Let's see. Let me drink some water first, real quick. Gotta keep myself hydrated, as you guys should as well. A set of menu buttons used to link data blocks to each other. If data blocks are linked, data will be uploaded across all of the data user when edited. Type shows the icon indicator that data block type. It opens up the following pop-up menu. The data block can be dragged from the EG to drag a material onto the object in a 3D viewport or into a data ID field. So it's either an object or a material. Which means you put some on the viewport. Well, material is something you would put on the thing you just put in the viewport, from my understanding. List. A list of data blocks available in the current blend file, or a link to select an item from. The menu may show a preview besides the item and a search field to search the item in the list by name. In other words, that's visible here. Name displays the internal name of the linked data block, which can be edited as a regular text file. If the name is already assigned, Blender will add a digit to the name, like 00.001. User count displays the number of data users that of the data. Clicking on the count will make it a single user copy, with it linked only to the active object's data. Fake user shield icon keeps the data locked safe in the blend file, even if it has no real use. When activated, an F will be shown before the name in the list. Okay. Would love if you tell me what the purpose of that is, unless it's gonna tell me later down the line. Make local chain icon. To do. To put is less than. Okay, this doesn't tell me anything. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to refer to. What is this supposed to mean? I know this is normally used as to do, but less than 2.79? What is that supposed to mean? Blender, a brief description of this would have been welcome here. Hopefully, they explain this further down the line, hopefully. Sometimes they won't. New add icons. Creates a new data block or duplicate of current data block and applies it. Open a file browser. Unpack file bin icon. Unpack the file packed onto the current blend file to external ones. Unlink block X. Clears the link, shift left mouse button, to set the user to 0, allowing the data to be fully deleted from the blend file. Sometimes there's a list of applied data blocks, such as a list of materials used on the object. Also, see data blocks are discussed further in the data system chapter, of which I believe is somewhere on this side actually. Maybe later down the line or within one of these. Okay, here's a preview. In the tool setting is a version of the data block menu with a bigger preview, and I think everything bugged again. Come on, YouTube, you're the ones providing this music. Why not let it work, please? Let it run this on the background, YouTube. Data ID. What are you learning how to do? I'm learning Blender. Well, first Blender for roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours. Afterwards, I'll be switching over to Krita. I hope I'm pronouncing this properly, which is a free Photoshop-like software, according to my brother. Because I can't pay for Photoshop. Yep, first time. Data ID. A data ID is a text field with an icon that on the left, which opens a pop-up. Data ID is unique name for an object. Data ID is used to refer to objects, and therefore Blender does not allow any two objects of same type to have the same ID, same name. I'm learning Blender as well. Well, welcome aboard, because I'm gonna be going through their tutorials as much as I can to hopefully eventually start actually making something myself. So maybe we can learn together. If data ID is already in use, Blender will automatically append a number to the end to prevent ID collision. For example, cube.001, which makes sense. I think Unreal does something very similar, but just puts straight up like cube 1, cube 2, and so on and so forth. Menu showing data IDs can show the following elements. The icon on the left specifies the aspect data block type, which is not really visible here, unless it's talking about this. Name, pre-self-explanatory. The text field functions as a search field by matching elements in the list. Press tab to autocomplete names up on the level to match stuff. To match is found. If more than one match exists, you have to continue typing. If you type an invalid name, the value will remain unchanged. List lets you select the data block directly. Eyedropper, which I couldn't get to work for some reason when I tried it. In some data IDs, there is an eyedropper available through the pipette icon on the right side. I probably look certain it didn't work when I tested it just now. It's because I don't have an actual project ongoing right now. Remove X. Click the X. Yeah, it's just pretty much closing it. Sub ID. Related types of IDs may become available to select a property or child object depending on the object type. Let's see, target, cube, vertex group, the group, target, armature, bone. I think it This explains only that this and the bone. But what the relation is between these two, I don't really get it. If the vertex group, if the selected object in the name field is a mesh or a lattice, I cannot pronounce this. Sorry. English is my second language, so some words gotta struggle with, and this word I've not seen. I don't know how to pronounce lattice. I cannot pronounce this. Sorry. An additional field is displayed where the vertex group can be selected. If the selected object in the name field is an armature, which I don't know what an armature is, a new field is displayed, offering the choice to specify an individual bone by entering its name in the bone data ID. Head tail if the bone is set. A new field in displayed offering the choice of whether the head or tail of the bone will be pointed at. The slider defines when along this bone the point lies interpolating along the bone axis in a straight line. I'm guessing once I start getting to actually rigging is when I'm actually going to start understanding much of this. I don't really know what it's actually talking about. A value of 0 will point at the head root of a bone, while the value of 1 will point at the tail tip of the bone. Use B-bone shape. When the bone is a bendy bone, click on this button to make the point follow the curvature of the B-spine between head and tail. Yeah, I don't understand much of this. I'm probably gonna get you that once I get to the rigging section of this tutorial, which will probably be animation and rigging, where I'll start actually seeing this whole bone stuff and using this in particular. List view and preset. List view. This controls the this control is useful to manage list of items. They can be found, for example, in the object data properties in addition to the main list. There is a filtering panel on the bottom hidden by default, and modifications button on the right. Filtering panel on the bottom, hidden by default. I'm guessing it's talking about maybe this here. Let's see. Select an item, rename, resize. These are pretty much self-explanatory. I mean, select and rename is used on pretty much everything. Resize. The list view can be resized. This is just going to the edges and just moving it. Filter. Click to show filter options. Button triangle on the bottom left to show the hidden filter option panel. And what the hell happened to music now? Oh, it's just switching to another one on the YouTube playlist. Search, type the part of the item list. Okay, this was self-explanatory. Filter include. When the magnifying glass icon has a plus sign, then only items that match the text will be displayed. Filter exclude. When the magnifying glass icon is a minus sign, then only the items that do not match the text will be displayed. That's actually the first time I see something like this. Normally, when you're using a filter, to find the match, not what doesn't match. Does anybody use that? It sounds counterintuitive. But whenever I use a filter, I type what I'm looking for, not what I'm not looking for. Sorts list items alphabetically or in verse, which are self-explanatory. On the right of the list, there are list modification buttons. Adds a new item, remove, special. A special menu with tools to operate on list entities. Move up and down. Preset. Selector. A list of available presets. Selection will override the included properties. Add, of course, as a new preset. Remove, special again. I'm guessing like presets are things that you made before or on the side to determine the values of some parameters on an object. Similar to what I've seen in Unity, I believe, and I believe in Unreal, just that those are like prefabs in a way. The color clicker, I think many of us have seen this already, so I think I'm gonna skip this, because who hasn't seen this before? The color picking wheel. Anyone that does art has seen this. Even if you use paint, you've probably seen a similar item of this when selecting a color. Okay, I haven't seen this on other things that you've seen even paint. I think on Word, when you're selecting a color for the letters, you should have seen something similar to this, or either circle or a bar up on top with just have different gradients on down the middle. So I'm gonna see if there's anything like new, because this is like, anyone that's coming into Blender probably has already seen this. Will be Blender, even Krita as well, or even Photoshop. This is in the case you know the values. And again, the eyedropper, which I still have no idea how it works. Now in Blender, the hex and HSV, HSL values are automatically gamma corrected. However, for the RGB values, they are in scenes linear color space, and are therefore not gamma corrected. For more information, check the color managing and exposure, which that I believe is later down the line when it comes to probably the painting part, which is actually good to know. If I am using hex and this as visible here, then it will be gamma corrected, but the other one, the RGB, won't be, and that actually affects the tones of the color. And here's one I'm more familiar with because I have used this before, and not even I've used it on Paint. I've used it on Word, surprisingly enough. So I think I can skip this. I much more prefer this, not gonna lie, over the square one. But this is the one I've seen the most. This is almost the default one. And there's the options I was thinking about. Shortcuts. Don't think I'm gonna bother with the shortcuts because once I select, I'll probably just close the window entirely. Unless I'm gonna be using it like a lot. So let's move on to the next one because that everyone coming to Blender should already know that or should have seen it at least on some other software like again Paint. Most people the first art software they use is Paint. I mean I did. The first thing I ever did any sort of drawing on a computer, but it was a long time ago. I think it was even before Photoshop was a thing. Let's see, color ramp widget. Again with this. Then again, color ramp enables the user to specify the range of color based on the colors. Stops. Color stops are similar to the mark indicating where exactly the chosen color should be in intervals from each of the stops. Added to the ramp is the result of a color interpolation and chosen interpolation method. What I'm seeing here that makes me think what this is meaning is transparency of the color actually, because right here is the color you cannot see it straight out, like it is fully transparent. Well, all the way out here it's actually fully visible. That because whenever you see these square stuff, that's what it's referring to. That's transparency. Of course, add, delete, special, which is not properly explained. Flip color ramp, flips the gradient, inverting the value of the color ramp, of which I don't know why you would. Well, I'll see once I actually start using it, because I don't really know why you would invert it. Distribute stop from left. Distributes the stops so that every step has the same space to the right. This is mostly useful when used with constant interpolation mode. And give me just a second, something is wrong over on the OBS. And of course the YouTube just decided to stop transmitting the music for some weird reason. It automatically paused it, of which I don't want that. Okay, OBS is still working. VStream and Cake is still working. Seems that there's trouble on YouTube side again. I don't know what's wrong with YouTube lately. It has not been cooperating with me lately. It just cut me off from my chat just now, and it reconnected unfortunately, but it disconnected me from my own chat just a moment ago. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm gonna have to probably Google up if there's anything actually going on over on YouTube side. I don't know what's going on there. Even lately it's been causing me some delays on the stream, while on believe on Kick and VStream everything's working just fine. I know VStream is working just fine. I take a quick look at it. Okay, it's right where I'm at. Good. Kick is a little harder because my laptop screen is smaller and I can barely see the preview on it, and I can't make it bigger no matter how much I try. And it's not without hiding all three of my chats. Okay, where was I again? Okay, I think I did the distribute left. Distribute stop evenly. Spreads between all neighboring stops become equal. I guess I'll understand more what this is talking about when I actually start using it, because I'm not entirely understanding this. Or once I get to one of the more advanced stuff, where hopefully it gets more practical. Eyedropper pipette icon, which now it's gonna be explained with further detail elsewhere. We set color ramp, resets the color ramp to its default state, color mode, which is the RGB and the HSV and HSL, which I would love to know what they actually stand for. Blends color by RGB blenders color by mixing each color channel by and combining. HSV, HSL blends color by first converting the HSV or HSL, mixing, then combining again. This has the advantage of maintaining saturation between different hues, where RGB would desaturate. This allows for richer gradients. So better than RGB? I guess I don't know what I would favor once I actually start coloring something. But then again, if I do start coloring something, I'll probably make my textures over in Krita, which is why I want to learn it. So I can actually make the textures for whatever I make here. RGB, B-spline, wait, no, I skipped this. Interpolation options. Enables the user to choose the type of calculation for the color interpolation of each color stop. RGB, B-spline uses the B-spline interpolation for the color stop. But that doesn't tell me what it is. Cardinal, linear, ease, and constant. I'm not an artist, so it's hard for me to actually understand what this is. I don't know what B-spline is. HSV and HSL. Clockwise, counterclockwise, near or far, of which I'm not entirely sure what it's actually referring to again. Maybe once I get to the coloring, it actually explains it to me, and hopefully it does. After color stop, index of the active color stop shows the dasher line allows you to change the active color when colors may be too close to easily select with the cursor. Position. This slider controls the position of the selected color stop in the range. Color opens and color picker for the user to specify the color and alpha for the selected color stop. When the color is used in alpha, the color field is then divided in two. This is with the left side showing the base color, and the right side showing the color with the alpha value. Okay. This is referring to like this right here. Shortcuts. Control, let's add a new control point. Let's move on. Let me drink some water real quick. I'm not going to interrupt my dogs from barking because I'm pretty sure there's someone outside during this time of hour. There's been people wandering on the streets lately. It is, well, pretty much the holidays. There's a lot of people on vacation right now. That's driving the dogs crazy. Color palette. I mean, who hasn't seen this? Who hasn't seen this? I'm gonna skip this because seriously, who hasn't seen a color palette? Ooh, okay, now here's something I don't think I've ever seen. Curve widget. The purpose of the curve widget is to allow the user to modify an input such as an image in an intuitive manner by smoothly adjusting the value up and down using the curve. The input values are mapped on the x-axis of the graph, and output value of the map to the y-axis. And for those wondering, that doggo barking in the background is my dad's Chihuahua, so you can imagine why it's going mental. It's a Chihuahua! Control point. Like all curves in Blender, the curve of the curve widget is controlled using control points. By default, there are two control points, one at 0.0, 0.0, and one at 1.1, 1.1. Meaning the input is mapped directly to the output unchanged. And for those that don't know what it's referring to, this would be 0.0 right here, and this would be 1.1 up here. If this is following that formula, that is. Just like this one is the one selected, it's a 0.5, which is a metal, so yes, this will be 1.1, this will be 0.0 right there, based on this coordinates shown. How will it affect the image? I don't know yet. Once I get to it, we'll see. Let's see. Alright, I was right here. Move, simply click and drag it around. Add, click anywhere on the curve where there... Oh crap. Okay, hang on just a second. Something is wrong with my laptop's Wi-Fi. I don't know what's wrong with my Wi-Fi just now. Is the stream still going? I'm gonna look at OBS real quick, so if anyone writes anything, I'll be able to see it. So give me a second. I would love to know if anyone's in the chat if the stream is still going well. While I check what's wrong with my laptop, because most of my chats are over there, or I have everything else open. Or I have the browser open, I cannot see my chats on OBS. I cannot see OBS altogether, because I don't have a second monitor, I only have one. So I have to improvise. Going to reset my laptop's Wi-Fi real quick. Maybe that'll fix it. It has happened before where I've been forced to reset the Wi-Fi there in order to fix it. Okay, hopefully that got rid of the problem. If the problem still persists, then I might need to send a message over to either my brother or my dad to check the device itself, which might cause problem to the stream itself as well, if they do. But right now the only problem is Wi-Fi itself. As long as the stream's still going well, I guess it's fine. Okay, I am recording this, and this will be up on YouTube and VStream. I'm gonna upload it to both. Of course, separately. Like, there'll be a video for Blender, another video for Krita. Okay, everything seems to be working now over my laptop. Sorry about that. Let's carry on now, shall we? Now, where did I left off again? Oh, right here, adding the points. Remove. Select it and click on the X button at the top right. Oh, okay. I thought this would actually close this whole thing entirely, but no, it's saying that click this and this point will just disappear. Okay. Let's see, controls. Above the curve graph is a row of control controls. These are zoom in, uh, plus magnifying glass icon, zooms into the center of the graph. It's shown more. It shows more details and provides more accurate control to navigate around the curve while zoomed in. Click and drag the empty part of the graph. Zoom out, zoom out the graph to show fewer details and view the graph as a whole. You cannot zoom out further than the clip region. Special, which again we still don't know, we only know it's just special tools. Maybe these are some of them actually. Reset. Resets the view of the curve. Handle options. Controls how the control point affects the curve shape. It determines the interpolation of the curve segment at the selected control point. Vector handle. Vector handles creates straight lines, breaking the tangent at the curve handle, making it an angle. Auto handle. Automatic handles that create smooth curves. Automatic handles that create smooth curves. Okay, this sounds a little bit wrong. I mean, automatic handles that create smooth curves. That's what's throwing me off right now. And of course, YouTube, what the hell? Carry on to the next one. I was working fine when I was testing it today, but now it just doesn't want to cooperate apparently. Okay. That's throwing me off, honestly. I feel like there's something wrong there. Auto clamped handle. Automatically handles that create smooth curves, which prevents overshoot. Again with that create. This is throwing me off a lot. I don't know why. Free handle. The handle can be moved completely independently, and thus the result is in the sharp change of direction. Aligned free handle. The two handles of the curve point are locked together to always point in exactly opposite direction. This results in the curve that is always smooth at the control point. Here are the examples. Here's the vector handles, auto handle, and auto clamped handle. Okay. This image kind of makes a bit more sense now. Extend option controls how the curve is extended before the first control point and after the last control point. Extend horizon causes the curve to lay horizontal before the first point and after the last point. In other words, like something like this. Extend extrapolate causes the curve to extrapolate before the first point and after the last point, based on the shape of the curve. You know what? Oh, okay. Here's an example: like before and after, right here. In this case, I guess it's just that way it's bending, it'll also bend like after and before it. Reset curve. Reset the curves to default. Remove all points added to the curve. Clipping option. Dot icon. Use clipping. Force curve points to stay between specific values. That can be handy, I think. Minimum X and Y, and max X and Y. So it's a minimum and maximum bound of the curve. Like for example, if I wanted this to stay like right here, right in this range, like don't go above that, but don't go below this. So that will make it so like if I pull it up, I won't go past that point. If I pull it down, it won't go past that point. Delete, of course, just getting rid of it by pressing the X button. The first and last point cannot be deleted. So I couldn't delete doesn't anything I put in the middle. I cannot delete this one and this one. XY, the coordinates of the selected control point. Copy paste. The whole curve can be copied from one curve widget to another by hovering over the curve graph and pressing the Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Okay, the search, like this has been mentioned on several of them, like to find by keyword or ID on the different menus. So I'm gonna skip this because I mean, who hasn't done something like this before? Everyone that's used a computer has used a search function pretty much. Although operator search mode, all modes, menu, edit, menu, search. When developers extras are activated, an operator's search can be accessed from the edit menu in the toolbar. The search menu searches all operators within Blender, even if they are not exposed in the menu. This is useful for Python developers for testing purposes. So this last one, operator search, is for actual software developers, not for people that are using Blender for when I intend to use it. And let's see, nodes. Oh my god, nodes is actually long. I don't know what it's referring to, so let's hop on right into it. Also, might as well look at my timer. Okay, if I'm going for an hour, I can still go for a little while longer and on this thing. Oh boy. Introduction. The different node editors are used to work with node-based workflow. Each node editor type has its own specific purpose. Therefore, this section only explains how to work with nodes in general. In the list below, it shows the list of different types of nodes, node trees, and where each is documented. In other words, this is just a brief explanation, and once I get to actually messing with the nodes, where I'm actually going to get a more in-depth explanation of it. Now look, I'm not gonna bit. This kind of looks a bit chaotic. Let's see. Icon name, shader node, composite node, and texture node. Editor interface, header. The header contains various menu buttons and options, partially based on the current node tree's type. View, this menu changes your view of the editor. Select, this menu allows you to select a node or group of nodes. Oh, they can be grouped, that's actually good to know. Add, this allows you to add a node. Note, this menu allows you to do things with selected node, in other words, edit it. Use nodes tells the render engine to use a node tree when capturing the material color or rendering the final image, or not. If not, the tree is ignored for materials. This is mostly a legacy option because in the past material could not be created with node trees. I guess now they actually can now. Which sounds familiar. I think I did something similar over on Unreal when I was putting texture to an object. Use pinned. When enabled, the editor will retain the material or texture even when the user selects a different object. A node tree can then be edited independently of the object selected in the 3D viewport. Okay, that's actually good to know. Parent node tree. This button allows you go to parent node tree, e.g. leaving a group. Snapping changes options for snapping nodes position to active and clear node tree layout. Toolbar. The toolbar contains a select set of tools that can be used in the node editor. Sidebar. The sidebar region contains properties for the current selected node as well as node editor specific settings. Navigation. Navigating the node editor is done with the use of both mouse movement and keyboard shortcuts. Pan, middle mouse button, moves the view up and down, left and right. Zoom, control middle mouse button or the wheel. I'll probably be using the wheel. Move the camera forward or backwards. Frame select, number pad period. Shit. Not gonna use it because that period serves another purpose on until I can get my hands on the Stream Deck. My number pads in my shortcuts section. Adjust the zoom to fit only the selected node in the viewpoint. Frame all. Home. Adjust the zoom to fit all nodes in the view. Adding nodes. Nodes are added via the Add menu or using Shift A shortcut. Now let's see. Node parts. Okay. I can't help but look at the image right there. Oh my god, that's amazing. Excellent pick for the example. It looks so good. All nodes in Blender are based on a similar construction. This applies to any type of node. This part includes the title, socket, preview, and more. Title. The title shows the name / type of the node. It can be overwritten by changing the value of label in the node section of the sidebar region. N. On the left side of the title is the collapse toggle, which can be used to collapse the node. This can also be done with H. Normally H would be help! how a node appears when collapsed. Pretty normal. Sockets. The socket input and output value from the node, they appear as little colored circles on either side of the node. Unused sockets can be hidden with Control H. There are two kinds of sockets: input and output. Each socket is color coded depending on what type of data it handles, which we're seeing the example right here. Float gray indicates numeric values information. It can either be a single numeric value or a so-called value map. You can think of a value map as a grayscale map where the different amount of bright, dark reflects the value of each point. If a single value is used as an input for a value map socket, all points of the map are sent to this same value. Common use. Alpha maps and value options for the node. Vector blue indicates vector coordinates and normal information. Color yellow indicates that color information needed to the input or while the output for the node. Depending on the node tree type, the color has an alpha channel or not. Shaders, bright green, used for shaders in Cycles and Eevee. What the hell's a Pokemon have to do with this? Sorry, I couldn't help it. Boolean, soft yellow, used to pass true or false values. Integer, used to pass integer values. String, dark gray, used to pass a string value. Object, dark red, used to pass an object data block. Image, used to pass the image data block. Input. The inputs are located on bottom left side of the node. Provide the data the node needs to perform its function. Each input socket, except for the green shader input, when disconnected, has a default value which can be edited by a color numeric or vector interface input. In the screen nodes above, the second color option is set by the color interface point. Let's go back to that. And if you're talking about this one, or this one. Let's see, output. Although, regarding the input, why does the shader not have that? Why does the shader not have a default? That part doesn't make sense to me, but I guess we'll get to it once we actually get to the actual nodes themselves. Output. The output are located on the top right side of the node and can be connected to the input of nodes further down the node tree. Properties. Many nodes have settings which can affect the way they interact with inputs and outputs. Nodes with settings are located below the output and above any input. Okay, so this, I guess this is referring to these parameters right here, but I don't even know what these parameters are about. Preview. On some nodes, this shows a preview image of how the output data for a certain channel will appear. Usually it shows color data. The preview can be toggled using the icon on the very top right hand corner of the node next to the title. Okay, then selecting box select. Click and drag the box, select multiple nodes. Alternatively, B starts the bounding box, select process as well. Lasso select, has something I know about the box select, but lasso select, this is the first I actually hear about this. Click and drag starts and lasso select. Control Alt left mouse button. That doesn't tell me much. Select all. A. Okay, with A I select everything. Deselect all, Alt A. Inverse. Inverse the selection. Hopefully later it tells me what inverse actually means. Select linked from L. Expands the selection to nodes which are linked to inputs of the currently selected node. Select link to. Okay, so that's a link from and select link to, Shift L. Expands the selection to nodes which are linked to the output of the currently selected node. Okay. Select group, Shift G. Select similar nodes to the active node by properties. Type the node type, e.g. all math nodes. Color, the color property. Prefix, suffix, never heard of suffix. Matches the name property from start to end of the text. Activate same type, previous next. Finds the previous next node of the same type. Activates the node and ensures the node is visible. Find node. Control F. Okay, who hasn't done Control F to look for something even on a website? I mainly use that on websites when I'm looking for like guides of particular words and I like want to get straight to the point. To search for a node, on selecting a node, it activates the node and makes sure the node is visible. Select multiple, Shift left mouse button or Shift right mouse button. Used for multiple node selection. Same as selecting multiple files. But I think sometimes it's actually Control and not Shift. I can't remember right now. Arranging nodes. Snapping. Snap toggle snapping mode for moving nodes around. Now I will probably use that if I want all nodes are related to each other to be at the same height. Snap node element selector. The selector provides the following node elements to snap. Grid snaps the grid background. Node X snaps the left right node borders. Node Y snaps top bottom node border. XY snaps to any node border. Snap target, which which part to snap to the target. Closest snaps closest point into the target. Center snaps to the center onto the target. Median snaps to the medium to target. Active snaps to the active onto the target. Auto offset. When you drop a node with at least one input and one output socket into the existing connection between two nodes, auto offset will, depending on the direction setting, automatically move the left and right node away and make room for the new node. Auto offset is a feature that helps organize node layout interactively without interrupting the user workflow. Auto offset is enabled by default, but it can be disabled from the error header. Which is which here? I'm guessing this one down here is like the auto offset one. You can toggle the offset direction while you are moving the node by pressing T. The offset margin can be changed using the auto offset margin setting in the editing section of the preference. And there's an example video, but I'm not gonna open that. I don't want to get into trouble. And let me drink some water before I continue with the editing section. Also, I better keep track of how long I've been going so I leave time for the Krita part of the stream. Okay, I'm good. I can still go on for a little while longer. Editing. Transform. Moves a single node by clicking and dragging it around. A node can be clicked almost anywhere to start dragging. Multiple nodes can be moved after pressing G. In general, it is recommended to arrange your nodes within the views, such as the data flow from left to right, top to bottom. A node can be resized by dragging the edges on the left or right side. Connecting sockets interactively. Left mouse button click on the socket and drag. You will see a line coming out of it. This is called a link. Keep dragging and connect the link on to the input socket of another node and release the left mouse button. When multiple links can route out of an output socket, only a single link can be attached to an input socket. But if only a single one can be connected, then why would you be able to do multiple output sockets when only one is gonna work? I guess I'll know more about it once I get to the actual more in-depth part of the nodes. This is more of like the overview of it. To reposition the outgoing links of the nodes rather than adding a new one, hold Control while dragging from the output socket. This works for single as well as for multiple outgoing links. But if it can have multiple outgoing links, but it says up here that it can only attach to one input socket, why would what would be the purpose of multiple outgoing links? What is there something else it can connect you that should have probably mentioned? I don't get that one. Nodes that have no connection can be inserted on a link. Just move the node over the link and release when the link is highlighted. Make link F. Select multiple nodes with the open socket, then you use the make link to create link between them. Use make link as if you are if there are other nodes which can be connected. Make a replace link. Make an replace link works similar to make links, but it will replace existing links if any exist. So there is a risk of override when making and replacing. Disconnecting sockets. Interactively drag the link from the input socket and let it go, keeping it unconnected. Cut links. To break a link between sockets, click in the empty area near the link. You want to disconnect it and drag. You will see little outer icons appear at the mouse pointer. Move it over the link itself and release. Data links. Use data links in order to cut all links attached to selected node at once. I don't know why you would use this, unless you're like trying to experiment with multiple nodes or something. I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of that would be. If you delete, the nodes will automatically be disconnected, I'm assuming, if you like trying to get rid of a node in particular, unless there's something that keeps it from deleting if it's connected to something. Sort of as to avoid deleting something you actually don't want to delete. Duplicate. Click left mouse button or right mouse button on the desired node. Press Shift D and move the mouse away to see the duplicate of the selected node appearing under the mouse pointer. Note, when you duplicate a node, the new node will be positioned exactly on top of the node that was duplicated. If you leave it there, and it is quite easy to do so, you cannot easily tell what there are two nodes there. When in doubt, select the node and move it slightly to see if something is hidden underneath. I gotta try and avoid that issue. Copy paste, not only get the selected node but also the connection between them are copied to the clipboard. Note, pasted nodes will be placed in the same position as when it was copied. Use the same condition as when duplicating. Okay. Why not want to copy it over where the mouse is located? Then again, that would probably been like some coding in the way that probably did at that time was not possible. I don't know now. I know some things can do that, but not everything. Muting a node removes the contribution of the node to the node tree and makes all links bypass through that node without change. Links will appear red as an indicator of passing through the mute node. Show and hide. Hide collapses the node, so only the node header is visible. This can be toggled by clicking the triangle at the top left of the node header. Toggle node preview hides the preview which on the node that displays the frame after the node's operation has been applied. This can also be toggled by clicking material ball icon on the node header. Material ball icon? I haven't noticed. No, the node exception was on the previous one. Whoops. Toggle node options. Show hide all the node properties. Collapse and hide unused sockets. Hides all the toggle hidden nodes that the socket has hidden operations. Layer, something I need to get used to when I hop on over to Krita probably. The tools are only used in the composition. Read render layers, read all the current scene render layers for cache as needed. This can be used to save RAM while rendering because the render layer do not have to be saved in RAM. This can also be used to recover some information from a failed render. From this to work, safe buffer must be enabled. Okay, still quite a ways away, but we're ever so closer to finishing the user interface itself, then getting over to the editor. Sidebar items, panel, sidebar region, item, node, name, label, color. I feel like this is just starting to repeat a few things. Color preset, color, properties. Properties are shown depending on the type of node selected, e.g. mixing different. Okay, not again, YouTube. I need to experiment more with this playlist that YouTube itself provides to avoid copyright. I think it's starting now. It just has a low start. Hopefully it's not too low, because I did lower the volume on my headset so I can actually hear myself and not actually end up like speaking too loud. Also, do let me know if the music is either too loud or too low. It is just ambient sound music, just to run in the background. The info in this panel changes with the selected tool. Annotations, you can select the annotation tools in the toolbar to make annotations in the node editor. See an annotate tool for more information, which is probably somewhere down here. There's not much here to really worry about. Now let's see. Node groups. Grouping nodes can simplify a node tree by allowing instancing and hiding parts of the tree. Both material and composite nodes can be grouped, which is a good thing. I don't have to worry about having a bunch of these like scattered all over the place once I start using nodes, if ever. Conceptually, grouping nodes allows you to specify a set of nodes that can be treated as though it were just one node. Node groups are similar to functions in programming. They can be reused in many places in the node tree and can be customized by changing a parameter of the node group. Something I will probably rely on once I probably start making my own like 3D avatar. Once I get to that point, I'm in no rush to do so, and then if I do, I'll probably end up doing a low poly first, so I don't put too much of a burden on my computer, unless I somehow miraculously get myself an upgraded computer. If I do go to the 3D model, I'll probably go low poly, to keep the use of resources at a minimum. And I'm probably trying to look for someone that actually understands that more to like give me some tips and tricks. Let's see where I leave off. Alright. As an example, if you have created a material that you would like to use with different inputs, e.g. diffuse colors, red plastic, green plastic, you could recreate different materials with make single use for each different color with a copy of the tree. A part describing the plastic material. If you like to edit the material, you would need to redo the edit on all materials and on all materials. A better method of reuse is to create node groups, exposing only the variable input, e.g. the diffuse color. Also, nested nodes groups are supported. What? A node group can be inserted or created inside another node group. Okay, these LE, I think so, or IE. Have you seen this before? I don't think I've seen that before. Recursive node groups are prohibited for all the current node systems to prevent infinite recursion. A node group can never contain itself or another group that contains it. That's a pretty good safety measure. I'm pretty sure without that, a lot of people would probably make that mistake, like, and just overwriting their, like, overwhelming their computer because of that infinite loop. Make group. Reference, all nodes, menu, node, makes group. Hotkey, Control G. To create a node group, select a node that want to include, then press the Control G. Group plus make group. A node group will have a green toolbar. All selected nodes will now be contained within a node group. Default naming of the node group is node group 0.1001, etc. There is a name field on the node group. You can click to change the name of the group. Change the name of the node group to something meaningful when appending node groups for one blend file to another. Blender does not make a distinction between material node groups or composite node groups, so it is recommended to use some naming convention that will allow you to easily distinguish between the two types. Tip: what not to include in a node group. Remember that the essential idea is that a node group should be an easy, reusable, self-contained software composed component material component. Material nodes groups are not included. Input nodes. If you include a source node in your group, you will need to have the source node appearing twice, once inside the group and once outside the group in the new material node tree. If you include the output node in a group, there will not be an output socket available for the group. Okay. Edit group. With the node group selected, tab expands the node to a frame, and the individual nodes within it are shown. You can move them around, play with their individual controls, rethread them internally, etc. Just like you can if they were a normal part of the editor view. You will not be able though to thread them to a node outside the group. You have to use the external socket on the side of the node group, while tab can be used for both enter and exit group. Okay. Interface. Interactivity. When the node group is created, new group inputs and group outputs nodes are generated to represent the data flow into and out of the group. When created, connections to input socket coming from unselected nodes will become attached to a new socket on a group input node. Similarly, outgoing connections to input sockets of unselected nodes will become attached to the new group output node. If during node group development an additional parameter needs to be passed into the group, an additional socket must be added to the group input node. This is easily done by adding a connection from the hollow socket on the right side of the group input nodes to the desired input socket of the node during input. The process is similar for the group output regarding data you want to be made available outside the group. And give me a second, let me drink some water again. Okay, I want to finish with this part that I'm doing right now and then move on to the next section. Panel. Sockets can be added, reordered, or removed. The descriptive name can be added, and a details of the input data value defined here. If you have multiple input or output, you can be reordered by selecting the socket in the list and then moving it up or down with arrow buttons on the right side of the panel. The large plus sign button below the list will add a unconnected socket of the same type as the selected socket, or the value if there is no selection. The triangles at the bottom of the list has filtering functions to facilitate finding nodes in the group and if the group has a large number of sockets. So what's this? Ungroup. The Ctrl-Alt-G tool removes the group and places the individual nodes onto the editor and your workspace. No internal connections are lost, and now you can thread interval nodes to other nodes in the workplace. Separate selects nodes of the node group. Copy, of course, copies the node. Moves the parent node. Remove from group. Okay, how much was it? Okay, I'm almost at the bottom. Group insert. Select a set of nodes and ending with the destination group node, and processing node group insert will move these nodes into that group. The moved node are collected into a group of their own to preserve their connection context, having their own group input and output nodes. The group existing input and output node are updated with new sockets, if any. From the new nodes, the node group must be edited to contain a single group input and a single group output node. Appending node groups. Once you have appended a node tree to your blend file, you can make use of it in a node editor by pressing Shift A, add plus group, then select the appended group. The control panels of the group includes the individual controls for the group node. You can change them by working with the group node like any other node. And I am gonna leave this part for Blender right there. Still a lot to go through, and I'm almost at the 2-hour mark. So that is gonna be it for this Blender section. For for those that are watching the stream, the stream isn't over yet. I'm gonna be putting the starting soon screen again and switch over to the Krita section of the stream. I just need to put that up so that I can go into studio mode and set the screen capture for that. And open the site as well, where I left off, which I think I remember what I do. As for those watching the video, then you don't have to worry about it. It'll just be the end of the video. But anyway, that is gonna be it for this Blender section. Just in case, I'm gonna pause the music so I can actually use it on the next segment. And let's see. I will be continuing this next next Tuesday. This will be a Tuesday stream. Let's see. And how much do I have? I think I still might have almost on a full stream to finish up the notes, which some of these are a little bit on the long side, not so much, and I still need to go through the tools section, which might as well have a look at that. Okay, yeah, the tool sections has a bit of a way to go, so let's go back into the notes. And yeah, here it is. This is where I left off. But yeah, that is gonna be it for now. If anyone has any suggestions from put in the chat, or if you're watching the bot or the video that I'll be putting separate, put it down in the description below. And yeah, just a little quick YouTube outro. YouTube / free streams because it's going up on both. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.